Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. I decided I wanted to pull out my Heffy Doodle Sweet Tooth Shaker dies today and have a play around with them because I've not used these. I got these for Christmas and I haven't used them yet, so I thought it would be fun to have a play around and see what I could come up with. So these are the dies that I'm talking about, and I'm just going to be using that kind of one in the top left there that looks a little bit like half of a sweet wrapper and a couple of the circle ones. So I have gone ahead and die cut everything out. I've cut two of these little half kind of sweetie wrapper ones here out of 6 different shades of kind of pastel coloured cardstock and a bit of a rainbow. I have 6 of those kind of circle frame dies, 6 of the backing pieces, one in each colour, and then I have 6 white circles, and I have 6 acetate windows for the shaker elements, and then for each one I have cut 6 circle frames out of white cardstock, so 36 of these in total. Yes, it was a lot of die cutting, but I was on a bit of a roll. It didn't take too long, and I kind of wanted to create a bit of a rainbow of these. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with them. I just kind of wanted to play and see what they looked like and how they came together. So instead of using foam tape, I decided to do this method of stacking up my die cuts to create a bit of a well for my shakers. So I die cut 6 of these white frames for each one of my little sweeties, and I'm stacking them up and just gluing them down with liquid glue. So I won't show all of them because it would be a bit boring, but there you can see I've done all 6, and then I've got all 6 of the completed wells, if you like. So all of these are 6 die cuts high, and I've just glued them all together. So before I went any further, I decided to stamp my sentiment onto these white little circle pieces. So I pulled out this Lawn Fawn set. It's the How You Bean set, and it has this cute little sentiment which says, "You're sweet." And I thought it worked perfectly for these little sweets that I'm creating today, or candy, I guess, if you are in the States, or lollies if you are in New Zealand. Depending on where you live in the world, you might call them different things. In the UK, they are definitely called sweets. So it has this little sentiment, and then it has a nice little exclamation mark as well. So I'm going to use my Versafine Onyx black ink, and I'm going to take each of these individual circles, and just using my stamping block, I'm going to stamp these down into that little white circle there. And these are just going to go on the back as a little place to put a little message. Like I said, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with these today, and I decided that I'd just kind of create these little, almost like ornaments. I have a tiny Christmas tree that I have had up since Christmas in my craft room, and I used it over Christmas to display some of the tags and things that I'd created. So I decided, well, I could use it to display some other things as well, and I thought that these would look kind of cute hanging from it. So to carry on, I have the 2 kind of circular pieces with the wrapper ends, and I'm attaching those to this larger backing circle piece. So just using some liquid glue on the circle part of those, and then I'm going to attach them behind to create my little sweet. So you can see it looks like a little boiled sweet that's been wrapped in a wrapper. And once I'd done that, I completed the same thing for all 6 of my little sweets, so in different colours, and then I added the frame pieces on here. So these are the 6 die cut white pieces that I just stacked up earlier, and now I'm attaching that down on top to create the well for my shaker, so you can kind of see how it's going to start coming together. So I'm just making sure that I've got everything lined up, and I'm just using liquid glue for this. I did get a bit messy, but it wasn't too bad. So you can see I've done the same for all 6 of my pieces. I'm going to move them off to the side, and I'm going to pull out my coloured frames that I die cut and my acetate pieces, and I'm going to glue these down. So again, just using liquid glue around the edge of that frame, and I will attach it down to that acetate piece and hopefully not make too much of a mess. As you know, if you follow me or you watched any of my other videos, I can be a little bit of a clumsy crafter. So liquid glue and me don't mix particularly well. I tend to get it everywhere, but it's not too bad. I mean, it can make a bit of a mess of the acetate if you're not careful, but I did manage to do this quite well. I'm just using this kind of little sharp pokey tool thing here just to scrape off any excess of glue that kind of seeped out through the edges. And once that was done, I pulled in a paper towel as well and just gave it a little rub to get rid of any excess messy marks. But on the whole, I actually did this relatively carefully today and it didn't turn out too bad. So yay me, because it doesn't always work that way. So I'm not going to show every single one on camera. I'm just going to do a couple here so you can see what I'm doing. Again, liquid glue around the edge, attach it down to the acetate and hold it in place. Okay, and once I've done this, then it's time to start thinking about what I'm going to pop inside my shakers. But before I do any kind of assembling, I'm going to pull out my powder tool and just go all the way around the edges. Because I have used liquid glue and because there's a chance that some of it might seep out, this just stops anything from sticking to the glue. So it will help with your shaker pieces to help them move around a bit. So once that's done, I pulled out some sequin mixes here. I've got some beautiful ones here from Heffy Doodle. So this is, I think it's called Unicorn Dreams. It is possibly my favorite one. It's a mix of kind of pink and soft greens. So I'm using those for my pink and green suite. And then I'm going to pull out, what was next? I think it was... Oh yeah, Royal Mist. This is like a mix of purple with a bit of gold, and I use that for my purple suite here. So I'm just putting a few in. It's quite a small little shaker well, so you don't want to overfill it too much. I've got my blue next, and I have the Coves Sea Mix from Heffy Doodle. I'm going to add that in there. And then I just have my yellow and my orangey coloured one here left. And initially I looked at this Heffy Doodle one here, but I decided it was a little bit too dark, and before I put it in there I pulled out this Lucy's Little Things, I think it's called Phoenix Fire, and I decided that worked better for these two. So it's got a mix of kind of softer oranges and yellows, which I thought worked quite nicely. So there are my little shaker mixes, and now I have just some glitter, which I managed to get everywhere. And I'm just coordinating the colours of the glitter with the colours of the sweets that I've used. So just kind of tipping a little bit in there to create some sparkle and shine, and obviously getting it all over the place as I'm doing so. So purple, and then I think I only had yellow. I don't have any orange, so I used the yellow for both the orange and the yellow sweet. Once that was done, I tried to tidy up the glitter a little bit. I keep finding glitter everywhere now. It's all over the place. And now it's just time to attach down that acetate piece onto the front. So again, I'm going to pull out my liquid glue. I did think about using my tape runner, but decided that it would be a little bit difficult to get it everywhere, well, to not get it everywhere. So I stuck with the liquid glue, and this worked fine. I just had to leave it a little while to dry before I did any shaking around. So I was a bit careful when I moved it that I didn't shake it around too much, because then the sequins would stick to that wet glue if any of it seeped out underneath. So just doing the same for all of them. Again, I'm not going to show all of this on camera because you don't need to see me repeat the same process over and over again, but I will do the same for all of them. And there we are, they're all done. And they look so, so cute. So now I have a kind of backing piece with my sentiment on it. But before I attach that down, I'm actually going to add some twine. So I went through my twine collection and found a bunch of different colours that worked nicely for my sweets here. So I've tried to colour coordinate everything. It's not perfect because I don't have an orange twine, for example. So I've got a silvery sparkle one instead. But my others kind of match up quite nicely. So most of them are from Lawn Fawn. That silver sparkle one is one that I actually bought from Paper Chase. And it was like a Christmas bundle with a red, a silver and a gold twine. So I'm just cutting a length of it from each one, and I will attach these down, sandwich them in between my kind of shaker and that sentiment, little circle sentiment there that I've done. so that I can hang these onto my Christmas tree, which is in my craft room. And actually, I thought these would have been so sweet as little Valentines for my kids to give to their friends at school. I just thought they were a really, really cute idea, and I'm gutted that I didn't do this in time for Valentine's Day. But I will know for next time, and I'm so glad that I took these dies out and had a play around with them today, because they're so much fun. And of course, you could put these on a card. You don't need to like hang them or have them as ornaments. You could pop them on a card and they would look really, really cute. I did actually think about doing that, but I wanted to make so many because I really wanted to play around with them and try out all the different colours of cardstock. And I should say that this cardstock is all just scraps that I had. I have a little scrap bin that I keep all my little scraps of cardstock in, so I just rifled through that and found some different colours. They don't need huge amounts of cardstock because they're relatively small, but how cute are these? And wouldn't they look really cute as a little Valentine's gift? And they look great on my Christmas tree hanging up, which you'll see here in a second. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this one, please do give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you come back again. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.